What up, everyone? So, a lot of you guys are asking me and other pros and other competitors about what's the best cardio, what's the best diet, what's the best training. And you guys have heard me, if you follow me, which you should be on Instagram, Rashabar, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more. If you guys follow me, you'd know that I always say, I don't care what you do, it's how you do it. And to prove this point, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was very thirsty, I was very hungry for information. I like the fact that you guys want to learn and you want to know everything, you know, which carb is the best, which style of training. But the fact of the matter is they all have their own place and time, they all work. You can't go wrong as long as you give 110%. So, case in point, think of it this way. All the Mr. Olympias we've had, right? Let's just go back. We have Phil Heath, Jay Cutler, we had Dexter Jackson, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, and a plethora of other ones, you know, slew of other pros. Not one of them trained exactly alike. Not one of them did the same style of diet. Nothing was the same, you know. They had a lot of similarities, but Ronnie trained like a freaking powerlifter with volume. You know, Jay and Phil, I don't think trained as heavy. Dexter doesn't train as heavy at all. He doesn't even do any free weights anymore at his age. So everyone did different diets and different training protocols and everything different. But they were all fantastic. They were all the best in the world at that time. So what that tells you is, of course, genetics has a big part of it, but when you work your ass off, you're going to get results. Now, over time, over the years, yes, you want to try low carb diet, higher fat, high carb diet, lower fat, keto. You want to try everything. So not only you learn about different methods, especially if you guys are looking to be in the industry or coach or become a competitor, you need to really do, like I've done every type of diet, every type of training. So when it comes to giving advice, when it comes to my clients or my own body being the best that I can be, I've covered all the bases and I'm confident with what I choose for myself. But what kind of diet? I do different stuff all the time. Every time I'm in prep, every time I come to get in condition for a show, or for you guys that don't compete, just get in the best shape possible for the summer, for vacation, or if you want to impress a new girl or some shit like that, I listen to my body. Every prep has been different. It's not astronomically different. I don't go from eating chicken and fish to eating tofu and dirt, you know, but for the first season, 2016, my carbs were lower. I got bigger come Olympia 6 months later. My carbs were a little bit higher. This year, my carbs were much higher while I dieted. You know, I carb cycle. In the beginning, I didn't. I kind of stayed consistent with my carbs throughout the week, and then I did a high day or cheat meal when I felt necessary, not just on a given day. Without going off on a tangent, my point is that there isn't one perfect style of training. There isn't one perfect diet. It doesn't exist. It varies from person to person, and even with the individual, it varies from time to time, season to season. I'm a big advocate of high intensity, blunt force trauma, stupid heavy weight. After warming up and being careful, don't go do some dumb shit and blame it on a Rashabar. But, you know, in my youth, in my earlier days, 100% natural, I just did 4 to 6 reps. I lifted really heavy for like, I mean, at least 8 years, 7 years. And then from that point till now, that's been my premise, but you'll rarely catch me do 4 to 6 reps. Why? Well, first and foremost, my strength has increased over the years, so 4 to 6 reps for me is very heavy and it can be dangerous. And again, number 2 would be the danger, injuries. You know, I don't have any major injuries, knock on wood, but I have some aches and pains. A human body is frail, guys. Like, if you think you're not going to get injured, you're fooling yourself. And I don't want to be negative and say you're going to get injured, but the human body, we're the weakest creatures on the planet physically. An ant can carry like an enormous amount of weight versus its own weight. You know, birds can fly. I mean, you drop a cat from a building, lands on all fours. We're very weak physically, but we're very powerful up here in our mind compared to animals. But physically, a human being falls from a standing position and they break bones. I mean, it's kind of pathetic. Secretaries have arthritis. Golf players have injuries. Golf is not a contact sport. You're not lifting heavy weights. So just imagine bodybuilding. You're going into a building and you're lifting weights in like awkward movements. If you really think about it, it's kind of a funny thing, and it can be very dangerous. So you gotta do good form, you gotta learn how to train, blah 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 blah. But for me now, I didn't do it as much when I was younger, I won't lie, but I warm up a lot. You know what? I always did warm up. I never was one of those guys that walked into the gym, got onto the bench, and put on 225 and started repping out. I never did that. But nowadays, I definitely warm up a hell of a lot more than I did when I was younger. And what that means is I'm breaking a sweat. I'm actually getting tired. I mean, you know, I told you guys I had some TFL issues with my legs last season, and they're bothering me a little bit still now. And I warmed up the other day training for legs for like, I don't even know, maybe 20 minutes. I was sweating and it weakened me and all that, but it was necessary, and I had a great leg workout. But if I just got under the squat bar and started lifting, it would have bothered me. So warming up will prevent injury, and it'll also tell you if you're tight somewhere or you have a tweak somewhere. You know, a lot of times a certain part of your body will be tight and you'll have an issue, and you won't know it until you really start moving around or working out. And if you just jump to a heavy weight, then it's too late. You could have hurt yourself majorly. So I do a lot of mobility before I train. No static stretching. Static stretching is holding a stretch. I'll make a video on that another time. When you hold a stretch, you elongate the muscle and you relax it. When you lift weights, you shorten the muscle and you make it tense. So it's complete opposite. You don't want that. But going back to the topic at hand, all diets, all training have their own place and time. So I trained the way I just told you guys for many, many years. But now, 1 week I'll pyramid, 1 week I'll do drop sets. I don't like the word drop set. I like failure, because I'll do as many reps as I can at a given weight and then pick a lighter weight and do another set. So that sounds like a drop set, but a lot of you guys, when you're doing drop sets, you'll just do 10, drop, 10, drop. No, I'm talking about do as many as you can at the heavy weight, like 10 or 12 reps, you're done, you're finished, your set's done. You literally can't even lift your arm again. And then you force yourself to get another 10 with another lighter weight. So I'll go from week to week to do that. One thing that I'm doing now is I'm doing everything different. It doesn't matter if what I've been doing is great. Whatever I've done to get me here over so many years is great, it's fantastic. But to progress, you can't do the same thing. What was the quote they say? They say if you do the same thing over and over again expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. I think that's what they say. So for me, I've never been a big believer of going super wide on bench press or any chest exercise to get a wider chest. I think it puts too much load on my shoulder. It doesn't feel comfortable for me, for my structure. So purposely, because I haven't done that for years, lately I'm doing it. So being safe and making sure it feels good. If something feels awkward or painful for you, don't do it. But I've been going wider, mainly on like hammer strengths. I'm not doing a lot of bench these days. Sometimes I'll do a Smith machine press on incline. But I've been going wider, and the first day I did it, I got extremely sore. Why? Delayed onset muscle soreness is only when you do something new, or you do a new weight, or you push yourself to an extreme. If you're doing incline dumbbells 60, 70, 80 pounds every week for months and years, you're not gonna really get sore. You might be a little tender, but not sore like when you first started training. So going wider on the chest movements and just tweaking angles and wrist movement and paying attention and rolling my shoulders back, which I always do for chest, it made a huge difference. My chest was so sore I could barely even put on my clothes. It hurt, you know? So try every training technique, but give 110%. Remember that. All the top guys in the world, they don't train exactly the same. Some guys have some more in common than others, but they all have different diets. They all have different training protocols, and they're all the best at what they do. They're all the best version of them. You know, so I'll do a low carb diet. I mean, everyone's got to do a low carb diet to get lean. You know, if someone tells you to get, a lot of competitors come to me, they're in great shape, they have great genetics, but their carbs are too high, and they're saying their glutes and their hams and their quads aren't coming in. You can get in great shape. We're not talking about great shape. We're talking about the best shape you could possibly be in, extremely low body fat. I mean, people say what works for me and what works for him. At the end of the day, we're all humans, we're all mammals. We all kind of pretty much operate the same way. Some people can tolerate certain foods better than others, but it's not like someone is gonna, grow on M&Ms and the rest of us grow on animal protein or whatever the case may be. It's not that different from person to person. Someone might prefer higher fats than someone else. Someone might prefer keto, but there's not that much of a change. So when you tell someone you got to run lower carbs, and they say, no, that doesn't work for me, that's bullshit. They just are too lazy or enjoy their carbs too much. I have to run low carbs, and for me, low carbs has changed. It used to be 50, 60, 80 grams. Nowadays, low carbs can be 100, 150. Low carb is whatever you are progressively losing weight on, whatever you're getting lean on. You don't want to start dieting and eat nothing. You want to eat as much as you can while getting leaner. And that amount will continue to get less and less over your 12, 14, 16 week diet. If you're eating 5,000 calories, an obscene amount, and you're getting leaner, great. But you'll stop at a certain point. And to get really low in body fat, the calories are going to continue to have to go lower and lower and lower. Some people has to go lower than others. But when you get so low in calories to a certain point, your metabolism slows. So that's the time where it's important to pay close attention to what's happening in your body and give yourself refeeds, give yourself more fat if needed to jumpstart your metabolism and get that fat burning oven. Does that make sense? They say wood burning oven, fat burning oven going in your body. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're choosing your training protocols and your diets. Don't be so OCD. Don't go on Instagram asking every other person. A lot of them don't know what the hell they're doing. And if they give you advice, I mean, how could someone give you advice without knowing all the variables? People will DM me and be like, hey man, I'm 6 feet tall, I'm 200 pounds, I'm trying to get lean. How many carbs should I eat? I don't know his activity, I don't know his genetics, I can't even see him. Sometimes their profiles are private. I'll even take the time, like, all right, let me see if I can give this guy some information. Anyone that gives you any information like that over Instagram or over DM, it's worthless. It's literally worthless because they don't know anything about you. Like, you take two of the same people, for argument's sake, you take two twins, identical genetically, identical aesthetically, and one is just a little bit more of a speedy personality, and he works at Home Depot. It's a little bit more of a physical job, and he has a girlfriend, so he's getting laid a couple days a week. And the other one is a more relaxed, laid-back personality, and he works an office job, and he's single. So he's only, So the twin, they have the same metabolism, same genetics, and they work out the same, and the diet's the same. But the twin that's speedy, is having a lot of sex, and works at Home Depot, is going to get leaner, is going to be able to utilize more calories than the other twin. It's simple. It's a no-brainer. So think about these little things. A lot of these things that I tell you guys on my channel, a lot of you already know, but it's just bringing it to the surface. It's just reminding you. You say, oh yeah, Arash is making sense. I should listen to his ass. I should subscribe. I should like. I should share with my friends.